All right, guys, so happy Monday and welcome to the venue live. My name is Roger Ramirez, and this is Houston's first online live performance venue brought to you from RRstudio. We are here in the studio with Silence.
Yes.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much.
I have been expecting y'all for quite a while now. Yohandi, a good friend of mine, he has been talking a lot about y'all, and I had all the confidence in the world that y'all were going to be great, which y'all were during sound check, and I'm really happy that y'all are here. All right, so tell us your name and what you do in the band.
All right, my name is Leif. I'm originally Norwegian, so there's a little bit of accent in here, but...
Which is great because we haven't had one, a Norwegian.
Am I the first European?
You're... No? Who was another European?
Ah, okay. Okay, well...
There's another Scottish guy here. Are you confusing? Okay.
All right, well, I'm the first Norwegian.
They're obviously not important because I can't remember.
All
So,
good.
yes.
Leif.
I'm Angie, and I'm keyboards and backup vocals.
I'm Ewan, and I'm the Scottish guy, and I play lead guitar and a bit of backing vocals.
The only one that I remember so far.
Exactly, the guy with a full head of hair.
I'm Johandi, and I'm the drummer.
And I'm Steve, and I'm the bass player.
So tell us a little bit about the band. I know we spoke a little bit earlier about how long you have been together. So tell us a little bit when y'all got started and how this group of guys and lady got together to become what it is right now.
Absolutely. So this kind of started with, for me it started with moving over here with my wife. We had been living in Norway for quite a few years. I've been playing in Norway for as long as I can remember.
So you were playing over there already?
Yes. So
Awesome.
I've been a musician for my whole life.
Oh,
so,
cool.
So I moved over here, didn't know any musicians. We're trying out a couple of different avenues, and it didn't really go anywhere until a good friend of ours said, "Hey, I know this Scottish guy. It's almost like you need help here. You know, we have a foreigner. I know another foreigner. You know." So, and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. We'll see." So we got together for a birthday party, and we sat just on the opposite sides of the table, and we started talking. And you know, after those couple control questions, I was kind of like, "This guy knows what he's doing."
You can kind of tell,
Yeah, so it's kind of like, what kind of gear do you use, and you know, what kind of guitars do you have, and all that.
Was this kind of like questions, but at the same time a test?
Well, it's kind of like to figure out is this gonna be
like,
anything or not?
Because I do that shit all the time. I'm
yeah.
like, you know.
So, and I was like, all right. I went home and I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I went to his house and we played a whole night.
Whose birthday party was it?
That was Misty's birthday party. So Misty and Clyde, thank you so much for bringing us together. That was great. And we played the whole night, and we were just laughing because it was kind of like, okay, this is too good to be true. You know, I've been looking for somebody like that. And to have two strong guitar players in one band is kind of like, it's normally not a good mix, but we've been like two peas in a pod.
Well, from sound check, I definitely know where to come in and where to hold back. So that's great.
Yeah, no, it's great working with you. And then I met Steve through another band that we were playing with, and he just came in and was this awesome, laid-back Californian guy, super easy to work with, very creative and very enjoyable. And so we played for a while, and we still do with another band that is doing covers. But and then his wife, Angie.
You just lucked out.
Well, when we started doing the original music, we were kind of like, okay, so I want to do something different. I need keys. We need keys. And Steve was like, my wife is hot, and I can testify she is, and she is also a great player. So we started playing together, and then we needed a drummer, and Alex.
Well, you forgot that she can also sing, man.
She does, and that was kind of like so amazing because once she started singing, I'm like, my God,
she's really there with you on the vocals, man.
It's like perfect.
She sings great harmonies,
she
guys.
does. She does.
And you will hear them because I was like, damn, And so I made it to where it's gonna sound real tight.
Yeah, no, she's awesome on the vocal side, and I like that mix too with having a female voice on top of what
Yeah.
I'm doing. It's a really cool thing. And then a bass player that we were playing with, Alex, he said, well, if you're looking for a good drummer, Johandi is your guy. So Johandi and I met up, and he's such a great fit. I think he could fit anywhere though, but he's such a nice guy, talented as crazy, and so easy to work with, and that's the big thing.
Johandi, I've known him for a while now. And shout out to Scat Sessions. Look him up on YouTube, Scat Sessions. But I've known Johandi for about a good year now, and we've always talked about how he's a drummer and how he do the studio thing. But I never saw him play the drums until exactly a week ago. And I was like, bro, like, you're really damn good. And he was like, oh, yeah, like, you've never seen me play. And it was just such a treat to see him play there and to have him here again because he's good. He's solid, and you have good tempo. And you can flip those sticks really good. and I just saw that at the end, so I felt like I had to comment on that.
Absolutely. And we spent as in a band, you spend so much time together. So you gotta like the people that you're with, because you're creative, you're vulnerable, you're doing things that is not been done before. And so you're creating as you go. So it needs to be a very good fit. And Johandi coming in, we already had that good rapport, but him coming in, and
you already had a good rapport.
Yeah, from the first kind of session we did, it was kind of like, yeah, this is awesome. Freaking awesome.
And Johandi can fit everywhere, everywhere. And so, okay, so tell me about your name, Silence. How did y'all come up with it?
Yeah, I just like things with a little bit of resistance in it, and so when I was trying to figure out, okay, what would be a good name, I wanted something that was kind of like more than just something flat out, so I thought that Silence is kind of like very contradicting to what we do. We make sound,
yes.
So and as we went along with that, we came up with a phrase, crank up the silence, which is kind of like, okay, this is taking it even one more step.
Like
what does that mean? And you'll find out when we do our music as well, where we're kind of wanting people to put their own things into the music. So because I think music is half ours, because we play it, we write the music and perform it, but it's also half the listeners. So, and I think Silence is a good name for that as well. And I was just getting a laugh out of, what if someday there was a full room of people screaming silence? I think that's just so funny.
That would be funny to think about. That, and I hadn't thought of that. And that would be pretty fucking funny. Oh damn, I cursed. I was trying not to curse. Beep. I was trying not to, because you were like, let's keep it clean. So I was like, so.
You're good.
This is not meant to be a little kid's show, but so your songwriting. When did y'all decide, or I know you were doing music for your whole life, that you wanted to write original music?
Well, that's kind of funny, because I didn't start writing until a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I've been playing my whole life. I've played in different bands. I've played in church for many years, and different bands, bar gigs, and different things, festivals and stuff like that. And original music, I started writing, and it was kind of like, okay, this isn't going anywhere. This is kind of like, this cannot be played for anyone. So, but it's almost like you need to understand. It's like swimming, or like riding a bike. There's a code to be cracked when it comes to writing music. And for me, it was, once I understood that music, if you have an entry point, you need to write about something. You can't just say, I can't just make music and then not have anything to say. And you'll see in one of our songs, is called Loud Voices with Nothing to Say, coming out of watching TV and see all these reality shows, and it's kind of like you got all these people that feel that they're entitled for the world to hear what they have to say, and when they finally get to stage, they've got nothing. So I've felt that I needed to get some kind of main idea when I start writing, and then everything kind of comes along through that. And when I'm saying that the songs are 50% ours and 50% the listener, you'll see some of the songs they have that. I think they have some themes here that's worth listening to and putting in your own experiences and connecting in your own way. Because in my opinion, music is about connecting. And
Yes.
I think that is something that needs to go all the way through, from the main idea of the song through how you perform them, and leave that open to the listener to actually be able to connect. And so that's been my way. I'm a huge John Mayer fan, and I love the way he can use his metaphors and all that stuff, and have something to say. And I love to talk, by the way, but just one more thing. So I listened to a podcast by Sting the other day, and there are two guys from I think they're from Liverpool. They have a podcast called Soda Jerker on Songwriting. Absolutely worth checking out. So they had an interview with Sting, and he was talking about his songwriting methods and all that. And he said, well, first of all, I need to have something to say, because the world is so full of noise that if you don't have anything to say, I'd rather not do it. Which I think is a great way of approaching songwriting, because you kind of like, okay, you have to dig a little deeper and say something that hasn't been said that way before, or try to find another angle on something that is very, exhausted already, but there is a different entry point. So that's kind of like the way I approach the songwriting. And these guys here takes the songs and takes it to another level.
So in your songwriting, are you more like, I'm gonna write lyrics first and then music, or you like some lick that you do on the guitar and then you put words to it?
Oh, that's a good question. I've tried everything. I would be standing in front of the stove cooking food, and I'm like, that's a phrase, I gotta write that down. And then if you could film my apartment, I would stand in front of the pan and making food and having a guitar. And just playing while I'm cooking, because my wife is coming home. She works late, so I'm kind of like, okay, I got this. I play a bit, I write a bit on my phone, and then every now and then, right before I go to bed, I'm kind of like, oh God, there's a phrase again. Okay,
yes,
I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
So it's a very kind of it's a strange thing. The writing is, I don't know if you write yourself.
Yes, I do. I do write a lot, and not now, but I would think of a phrase just like you. I'd be doing something, I'd be like, or I'd be talking to my fiance and be like, damn, like that sounded really cool, let's write it down.
Exactly.
And so I would have like a folder of just random things that I've said throughout, and then whenever I just sit down, and it's never like I'm gonna write a song, like I'm gonna sit down and write, It's always like I'm playing the guitar and I really like what I'm playing, or the chord progression. And then I'm like, oh, I really like that. Let me bring out this folder of like random ass quotes and try to just put something together. And so that's how I do it. And that's cool that you mentioned that, man.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful process, and it's never the same. I like it. It hits you when it hits you, and you can't force it.
And sometimes songs take like a few hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes they take years.
Yeah.
And that, as far as my experience, I had a couple of songs that I couldn't think of a third verse. And it literally took like 5 years for me to finish it.
Yeah.
And
if you want to have meaning in your songs and you want it to have some kind of substance, that's just how it is. You can always come up with some words and kind of mash it out and make it movie. But if you really want it to be something that you feel that you can present and that you're okay with, then it sometimes takes time. I wrote a song in the car once driving, and that was stressful because I had all these
well, were you
lines.
driving?
Yeah, I was driving down from San Antonio, so I was like, now what? I flipped up my phone and I'm like, I gotta get this down on the phone because I'm gonna forget it. And it's like I would be writing down one line and I'm like, oh, there's another one. Here we go again, fishing up the phone and trying to do it again. So that's kind of.
So what kind of music do you listen to if in your car, like whenever you're randomly driving?
Oh, that's a good question. I try to listen to music that doesn't bore me, in the sense that Well, it's funny because it's kind of like I lose interest. If I lose interest halfway through the song and start thinking about something else, it's not a song I want to listen to. So that's kind of like there is so much good music out there, and there's so much music that doesn't capture me. It's a subjective thing. What captures me won't capture the other person, but it's kind of like I'm listening for that thing that makes me want to hear the rest and makes me want to listen to the end of the song. And if you get to the end of the song and I'm like, I wish it was longer, then that's kind of music what I want to listen to. So sometimes I enjoy Muse, for instance. I think those songs that they're putting out, they have resistance, they have intelligence, they have all of the above, and it makes you really have to kind of stay focused to be able to connect.
So as a music listener, which I know you listen to music, do you focus more on lyrics as a listener? Or as in music? So in my case, if you haven't noticed, I kind of like the Dave Matthews Band.
I can tell.
So what I really enjoy about Dave Matthews Band is that, and what keeps me interested is the music. Whenever I listen to them, if I like the music, like if I find it like different and intricate and something that just like, wow, like it's so simple, yet they're making something beautiful out of it. Then I'll go back and listen to the lyrics. So how do you listen to music?
Well, I think I do it in a couple of different ways. One of them would be I think I'm the same way. There is something, I think the actual music is an entry point that keeps you interested. You're kind of like, you like it, you put it on, you keep listening to it. And then after a while, as you have your favorites that you listen to, you're kind of like, what is this person trying to get across?
To say, yeah.
And then you dig deeper. And if there's something there to be had, sometimes you're like, wow,
because
that is cool.
Because in my case, a lot of the time, whenever I'm listening to a song, I'm like, man, like, I have no idea what the song is saying for years.
Exactly.
And so I'll be with my family, and I'll be like, man, this is a really like badass song. It's like really, it's a happy song. She's like, wait, have you actually listened to the lyrics? And so I'll be like, wait. So I pull them up, and I'm like, what? Like, like, wow, that's deep,
I know.
So then, because I like the music so much, the lyrics then just kind of, they make this like connection, and I love it when lyrics connect with the music.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of songs that the lyrics don't connect with the music.
No.
And it's just words on top of chords. And so that's what I really appreciate in music. Whenever the lyrics and the music just, besides because they can be independently awesome, together it just makes like this like powerhouse of a song.
Yeah.
And so that's what keeps me interested.
No, I get you.
And I just answer the question I asked you.
Thank you for answering.
If y'all were wondering what keeps me interested. All right. So individually, background of music.
Sure.
What is your background in music? And
I'll start up and we'll go around the table. So I remember picking up the guitar when I was 6. And it's like this code again. It's like writing, right? There is a code. If you understand that there's chords, you can make music. So my sister taught me 2 chords, and I was sold. I never looked back. I was kind of like, I can make this work. And then in my teens, I started getting into I played the drums for a couple of years.
What were the chords? Just curious.
D and A. Yeah. So
bar chords or open?
No, open, of course.
Oh, okay,
bar chords. That's a lot later. So I discovered after that, in my teens, I heard Gary Moore play. And fell in love with his passion for the way he played the guitar. Carlos Santana, big influence, and then with Dire Straits, and then after that, lots of good guitarists just kind of enjoyed that whole thing. And once I started singing, you kind of shift a little bit of focus, but it's always been that. And then moving into the crazy stuff with Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and those guys for a while. Then going all the way back, meeting that with John Mayer and starting getting interested in songwriting. So it's a mix that kind of, it doesn't all come out at once, but there's a little bit of everything in there. So that was my journey.
Awesome. Angie?
So I have a musical family, And some of my earliest memories were my dad sitting at the couch with a guitar, my mom washing dishes, singing harmony,
Oh,
in the
that's tight.
kitchen. And my parents got me set up with a university professors that taught piano when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
I showed an interest, and I've been playing since, mostly in classical and then in Southern Baptist gospel style. So
I can tell.
right,
Yes.
there's a little bit of that, a little bit of.
definitely.
I mean, Elvis had it too. It's okay. But I think too, it's funny because as a pianist, I listened to different music than these guys did,
Mm-hmm.
because music that was heavy on the piano was more like Celine Dion and Nora Jones and
Yeah.
kind of that style. Because if I wanted to play along with things, it had to be piano pieces. So we have listened to totally different music. I don't know his references. He doesn't know mine. But I did get into the band setting about 10 years ago, where I lived previously, and you'll notice I'm the only one that has notes in my room because I don't, this isn't the way I learn really and the way I play, but it's a lot of fun. It's very, very gratifying and creative,
That's
nice
cool.
outlet.
That's cool.
So about when I was 11, which was about 20 years ago, something like that, I sneaked
10.
into my mom's little notebook at Christmas time. She used to write all the Christmas present, who's getting what. And I looked at my name, and I was getting the cassette recorder.
All
That was
right.
cool. And my
Cassette
brother was getting
recorder.
a classical guitar. That's good. So come Christmas time, when Santa Claus came down, I opened it up, and here was a guitar. So she flipped it.
Oh, she knew.
So the first instrument I played was a viola. So I started off
Nice.
picking up the classical guitar and playing the first few chords. I think it was D as well, not F.
No.
And so I started playing classical guitar and went through the Royal School of Music, did classical guitar, through all my grades to grade 7, I think it was. And then played acoustic guitar, and then the electric guitar came out because I started listening to Angus Young and AC/DC. And that was the end of it. Then it was full rock on from there.
And then you just
And then
rocked
Mark
it on.
Knopfler and now Clapton and John Mayer, and
yeah.
it's developed from there. But it's been a good journey, and meeting Leif has
cool,
been a
man.
great thing because we've got this great band, and
That's cool,
it's
man.
fun.
And I can tell in
Yeah.
your style, sound
Yeah.
check. I can, as you're describing it, and as well with you, I can,
Yeah.
kind of hear that in the music. That's
lots,
cool.
Lots of influences, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my story. So thank goodness Mum changed that around.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
To me, everything started with my brothers, the older brothers, 2 of them. They started, they were guitar players. One of them sang, and in the early 90s, he was really into Nirvana and all that, Soundgarden and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I started picking up that a little bit from him. And then my other brother, who's a classical guitar player, was really into Iron Maiden, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, and all that stuff. So I was picking up, and that's where my passion started, because they started a Spanish rock band.
Uh-huh.
So I was always, sneaking in. It's like, man, these guys are having a lot of fun. I was really into baseball. That was my passion back then. So I come in, and it's like, I want to have as much fun as these guys have,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
and they were the popular kids with a band and talent and blah blah blah. So I started mimicking the drummer, and used to on their breaks I used to sit on the drums. And one day my brother said, hey man, you can play,
Yeah.
let's go and take
Yeah.
you to a drum instructor. And from there I started listening to heavier stuff. I started with Iron Maiden. I was like, no, I need, as a teenager, I needed that fury to come out. So one night at midnight, I was awake, and Pantera came on, and yeah, I was just like, this is it. This is what I need. The Walk video came on MTV back then. Wow. So I fell in love with metal, and it just started getting heavier and heavier, and started into death. And then, Cynic, and then Progressive, and then, Watchtower, Dream Theater, all the drummer, stuff. And I was like, now I don't want to listen to vocals. I want to do instrumental stuff, because I love, the technical.
Progressive, yeah.
So, yeah, and Animals as Leaders and all that stuff, that's now very
I hear
cool.
that reference a lot. Animal
Yeah.
as leaders. I have to look them up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, please do.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh my God, everything, a guitar player and drums and everything is great, and no vocals. He's awesome. So no disrespect, but yeah. And now I'm really into like roots reggae, you know. So calm down a little bit and appreciate the groove of the music and the feel, you know, of the.
But it's good to know all different styles. I mean,
Yeah.
you have options at that point.
Yeah, I mean, coming from an island, man, I was like, you know, I started with rock and metal and stuff, and then I look back, I'm like, wait, I'm from the Caribbean, man, come on. And I started appreciating my stuff. So, you know, I was always into Spanish rock band,
Yeah.
like, you know, Soda Stereo, Caifanes, Jaguares, Eros del Silencio, like all that, Enanitos Verdes, Maná, who has a great drummer. All that
Yeah.
stuff were huge influence in me, but yeah, I started as a rock drummer, so I still listen to all that stuff a lot. So
Pretty awesome.
Dave
man.
Matthews, obviously.
Dave Matthews, yes. We can talk for hours about that.
Good. So for me, you know, music's been a pretty strong undercurrent in my whole family. Lots of musicians. It was bound to catch on with me. We had a family reunion recently, and I think about half of us were active musicians. That's a pretty strong percentage,
That's pretty awesome.
right?
Active
But it all-
musicians.
active,
That's cool.
performing.
That's cool.
Right. The musician in me was sparked though when I was 7. I have an uncle who's a trumpet player in the James Bond Orchestra. Was a trumpet player in the James Bond Orchestra.
Wow.
He brought his trumpet to my house, and that was it. You know, I had to have that. So I started a band. You know, 10-year-old kid out in California. Loved it. A little later, my older brother, hey David. He taught me a song, a Bryan Adams song on the guitar, 3 chords. Talk about that. And that was it. So I found out how, you know, this guitar works. And like, wow, that's it. There's 3 chords. I can do this. Then a good friend of mine, Mark Jackson, who's gone on to have a really solid career as a producer in Hollywood. He and I kind of taught each other. You know, you have a friend that's kind of trying to do the same things as you and listening to the same Iron Maiden. You know, all the rock from the 80s. We were trying to learn all that stuff and just kind of kept it going. So I've always played. You know, I'm kind of like a handyman musician. I play a little brass. I play some guitar. I play the bass here. I can play some drums. You know, like it's fun for me.
Yeah.
But what's important to me in music, you know, when you ask about listening and stuff, it needs to move you. You know, it has to physically move your body. And if it makes your body move, then I'm happy about it. I don't care what genre you call it. If it just makes your body move, then I'm gonna be into it, you know. And this does. I mean, this music makes your whole body move. Some movies it makes you go back and forth. Some makes you go up and down. But as long as it's making you move, you know.
And you play very melodic.
Well, I'm a trumpet player, right?
Yeah.
I did a lot of singing. You know, I remember driving around in the car with my dad singing Everly Brothers harmonies. You know, it's definitely I'm tuned into the melodic side of music. But yeah, I'm a bass player. I'm a rhythm instrument. You know, so it's like anyway. You know, and talking about songwriting and writing versus singing, I want everybody to pay attention. I mean, this music, you're going to hear it soon, we promise. It's powerful. There's a lot of strong guitars, a lot of strong...
It's full.
You know, Johanny and I are trying to lay down some deep grooves. You know, Angie's got this nice bubble of keyboard and great vocals. You know, there's a lot of power, but listen to the words. And consider that this man right here, he's not even an English speaker, really. Really? He didn't start that way, but it's really impressive. You know, he's got a real good control of writing in the language, and there's a lot of thoughtful, deep lyrics. So you're gonna be kind of hit in the face with the sound, but try to listen to what he's saying and listen to the words, and I think you'll be impressed.
I'm gonna try to listen to the words.
Just try.
The music already got me.
Yeah.
So Luke Bryan, was it Luke Bryan?
So no, Bryan Adams. So we have to tell this. We got to tell this story because it's good. I got 2 stories.
All right.
Steve and Angie will be in both of them. So Steve and Angie have Bryan Adams's couch in their house.
Okay.
True story. The Bryan Adams.
All right.
So, which is pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
We go there every now and then and just sit in this couch and we're like, yeah, we can feel it. Yep. We're channeling Bryan Adams right now. It's super cool. Yeah, he's good at picking out couches. So the second one is that I don't know. Do you want to do the story, Steve? You got a phone call the other day?
You want his couch back?
No.
What?
Yeah. So one of the groups that I play with here in town, the Suspects, we were kind of brought on to do the horn section. Played trumpet with them for a long time. The horn section was brought in to do a remake of an old Roy Head song, which then got picked up for the soundtrack of, what's the name of that movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I'm
Really?
sitting at this family reunion and I get a text message like, hey, that song you guys recorded is going to be used. It was used in the trailer. But yeah, so that was a really exciting
That is
time
exciting.
for me. Yeah, I got a check from Sony. For
Oh.
yeah. Quentin. So Quentin Tarantino, Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio, Steve Ruth. We're all in the same club.
That's pretty awesome, dude. That's a cool
That's a
story.
good story.
So what's the second story?
Oh, that
Oh,
is two. You know, for the ones counting, that is two.
Sorry. So tell us what you're gonna play for us today.
So, which songs or?
Yeah, like just what about him?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first one is called amygdala. That's a word that people don't know.
I heard that word before.
Yeah, so basically amygdala is two almond-shaped parts of your brain that controls your fear center, which is being what happens when you have panic, is that those parts of your brain are starting to hit that panic button, and it's triggering these fight or flight reflexes. So that's the first one we're gonna do. We're gonna do amygdala, yeah, I don't know which other ones should we pick out. We can pick out Falling Through the Clouds, which is it's about, you'll find in all the songs that there is a theme saying that, hey, life is good, but it also contains some hard times. And I think the whole idea that you can't have one without the other, that's just how it is. You can't have good unless you also understand bad. And when it hits, you shouldn't be that surprised. So Falling Through the Clouds is kind of like when you feel that the rug is being swept under your feet. And we all get that from time to time, and we don't like it, but it happens. And it's about kind of, and it's a song that gives you the opportunity to put your own thing in there and say, what does that look like? I don't know what it looks like for you, but that's a song that's kind of got that to it.
Cool, man.
So let's keep it to those two as of now, and
Yeah,
the rest of them you
yeah,
can
yeah.
figure out yourself.
All right, guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need your support, and also supporting these bands. We live stream local bands pretty much every day, and it's great. It's a pleasure to listen to new music. It's like I have my own record collection that just comes into my house and treats me to new music every night, and that's pretty awesome. So where can people find y'all on social media?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook.com, Crank Up the Silence. That should be easy to remember. Facebook.com, Crank Up the Silence. And on Instagram,
silence_the_band.
repeat please for the boys.
At silence_the_band.
There you go.
Great, guys. So if you're watching on Facebook, share the event. We want to make sure that Silence gets a lot of new fans. And, give us a like. It's always nice to give a like. It makes people feel good,
It does. Show some love.
Show some love. If you're on Twitter, retweet the event and give us a bunch of hearts. I think that's what Twitter is all about. So before I forget, which I wasn't gonna forget this time, Westone Audio, we want to give you a shout out. Thank you for the in-ears. They are pretty awesome. Everybody's using them in the studio. Your Pro line is super tight, and we want your new line, which I don't know what they are yet. I haven't kept up, but I'm gonna do my research and write you an email, and hopefully we can get your new line of in-ears. If you're looking for in-ears, Westone is the way to go. And I've told myself that I'm gonna write a jingle. I have to, but I only remember every time I give them a shout out, so I don't know if it's gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, guys, so are y'all ready to do this?
Yes, we are.
We are. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, and we're gonna give a shout out to Joshua Dugan, Josh Dugan, who is watching. He says, "What's up, guys?" What's up? What's up, Josh? We're about to start, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll be right back with you. We're going to take like a 30-second break. These guys are going to go to their spots, get ready, and we'll freaking rock the night away.